Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at a word you probably use all the time, curb.
Yeah, it seems pretty straightforward.
Right. But we've got this word study, and we're going to dig into its surprisingly twisty history.
hmm
Our mission, really, is to figure out its subtle power. How did it go from, like, horse tack to talking about spending?
Or enthusiasm. Yeah, it's a fascinating journey.
Exactly. So, get ready for a bit of an etymological ride.
Okay, let's do it. So the trail starts way back with Latin, the word curvus.
Purpose, okay, meaning
Basically bent or curved. Pretty simple.
bend. Got it.
Then that traveled into Old French as courbe, still meaning, a curve or a bend.
It's still physical, still about shape.
Exactly. And when it landed in Middle English as curb, C-U-R-B-E, it kept that literal sense, something physically curved.
Okay, so curve, bend.
Yeah.
How does that become, stop doing that? How do we get to restraint?
Well, the key is how it was first used, or one of its early main uses in English. Curb was a specific thing, a strap, sometimes with a chain, used on a horse's bridle.
Ah, okay. Like for controlling the horse.
Precisely. Think about the action. That strap literally helps bend or guide the horse's head and movement. It applies pressure.
So you're using something curved to control something.
That's the link. That physical act of control, using this shape tool, that's what broadened out. It became the core idea, applying a limitation.
Right. So that's the aha moment. The physical tool for the horse becomes this general concept of limiting or restraining things.
Exactly. And from that very concrete image, the meaning just sort of expanded. So now we have the noun, like the raised edge of a street.
The curb you park next to,
Yeah.
which kind of guides traffic or limits the road in a way.
It does. And then you have the more abstract noun, a means of restraint.
It's like needing to put a curb on something.
Yeah, like putting a curb on spending or maybe on development.
And then there's the verb to actually do the curbing.
Yeah.
Restrain, to control, keep something in check.
Correct. Now, this is where it gets interesting because we have other words, right? Like restrain, suppress, inhibit.
Yeah, they seem similar. How is curb different? Why pick that word?
Well, they each have a slightly different flavor. Understanding the nuances helps. Take restrain.
Oh.
Restrain often feels a bit more direct, maybe more physical, or implying a stronger holding back. You might restrain a person or restrain yourself with effort.
Whereas curb feels.
Often more like setting a limit or moderating something that's already happening. You curb your enthusiasm. You don't usually restrain it completely. You just dial it back.
Okay, that makes sense. What about suppress? That sounds stronger.
It generally is. Suppress suggests forcefully stopping something, maybe even hiding it, like suppressing evidence or suppressing a cough. Curbing is usually less about total prevention.
Gotcha. And the last one, inhibit. How's that fit in?
Inhibit often points to something more internal, doesn't it? Like a psychological block or something hindering you from within. Shyness might inhibit someone.
Right, whereas curb feels more external, or at least about controlling outward behavior.
Often, yeah. It's frequently about setting an external boundary or managing an action rather than an internal feeling, though it can be internal, like curbing your temper.
These distinctions are subtle but really useful. Okay, so let's talk practical use. Our source had some good everyday examples.
Right. These show how that abstract idea works day to day. Like we said, curb your spending.
Means cut back, reduce, not stop entirely.
Exactly. Or curbing enthusiasm. It's about moderation, keeping it within reasonable limits.
Curb your temper. Same idea.
Or even curb the dog. Keep it under control, usually with a leash, which loops back nicely to the idea of restraint.
Huh, it does. And we see it in bigger contexts too, right? News reports and things.
Definitely. You hear about efforts to curb carbon emissions.
Meaning reduce them, limit their growth.
Or plans to curb violent crime. Again, the goal is reduction, bringing it under control, limiting its extent.
Curbing unnecessary travel. It always seems to imply managing something, bringing it within bounds.
That's the essence of it.
So wrapping this up, our deep dive shows curb started with a physical bend, like the strap for a horse, and evolved into this really useful word for measured limitation or restraint.
Yeah, it's about bringing things, spending, emissions, enthusiasm, whatever kind of, within certain boundaries, controlling the extent.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? How many other words do we use every day, these seemingly simple words that have these rich histories tucked away inside them?
Absolutely. And how those hidden histories subtly shape how we even understand concepts like control or limitation. Makes you wonder what other common words are just waiting to be unpacked.